professor of law, please don't behave like Salasia. Read the document so that you understand and explain to your people what it says. I can forgive Salasia for refusing to read this document and assuming Sifuna signed it. But I cannot forgive Professor Ojienda. Because, Professor, you are a lawyer. When you see people running away from a document, and that's the reason I have brought this thing here, because there's been a lot of nonsense being said about the contents of this document. When I stand up during the burial of George Odwor and I say, you agreed to increase budgetary allocation to counties to 450 billion Kenya shillings, not 405. Yeah. The president gets annoyed and threatens to call founder members of ODM to discipline the SG of ODM. Because it is my responsibility. Ojienda will not do this. I am the person who is responsible for this marking scheme. Timely and predictable disbursement of devolved funds. Yeah. This is something we fight over. Ojienda is talking about 70 billion gone to you to where? Even as we speak today, Trevor, counties have not received money since February, since this agreement was signed. So when we remind these people of what the document is, that is why you see they run away. Yeah.
That is the tug of war that I want us to discuss. That is what I want us to talk about. But before that, if at all we are meeting for the first time, don't forget to subscribe. If at all you're a first timer, please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can get the information as fast as they are posted. Now, Edwin Sifuna and Tom Ojienda met today on Citizen TV. You know, I normally fail to understand. I fail to understand why you just decide to engage with Edwin Sifuna. Why? Because Sifuna is such a very brilliant guy. We all have to accept that. That Sifuna is a very brilliant guy, in as much as maybe perhaps he has got his own weaknesses, but Edwin Sifuna is very sharp, very bright, and very well composed, very well packaged. In any angle that you want to try and to come maybe to pin Edwin Sifuna down, you cannot make it. And I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry to do this video in English. I think I would like to switch to English. So please, my viewers, let me also know what you think, because according to me, I think now it's time that we should switch to English. Because a lot of people outside the country are asking that they really love what I'm doing, but now they can't understand. Most of those are coming from Dubai, United States of America. Some of them are sending me messages and they're telling me that we really love what you're doing, but please, we can't understand it. So that is why I'm deciding to at least switch into English. But I will not be doing English all alone. I'll be switching English, Swahili. Now, coming back to our discussion, as I was saying that Edwin Sifuna is such a guy that is very much brilliant. We all have to accept that. Very well articulated. So you can't defeat him. And yesterday, during the time that Edwin Sifuna was in the Senate, he mentioned something to do with the broad-based government. And he said that I don't consider anything to do, I don't even consider that broad-based government exists. He got a lot of backlash from different people, where people were saying that is the person that signed the agreement between ODM and the UDA. He didn't respond because I know he had got no platform, he could not respond very well. But now today, Edwin Sifuna is responding by saying that let people understand that is not the person who signed the MOU. MOU was signed between was signed by Raila Odinga together with William Samoei Ruto. And he was there just to oversee. He was just an overseer. Listen to this.
Sifuna, are you against the broad-based government?
Trevor, I'll repeat what I said yesterday, that there's nothing like a broad-based government. And when I said those words, I saw some people on Twitter tagging me saying, oh, but Sifuna, you signed a document, including somebody who's calling themselves a presidential candidate. And I just want to tell Kenyans.
You mind naming that?
He knows himself. There's somebody running around Western Kenya calling himself a presidential candidate. And I am happy that everybody who has declared that they are running for president is being examined on his past, his conduct, his words, and so on and so forth. But this one has no history. So I just want to encourage Kenyans to encourage that presidential candidate to read, to develop a culture of reading. So this MOU, I've brought you a copy of this MOU because it has been 2 months since this document was signed, and a lot of things have been said about what this document is and what it is not. This document does not establish a government. In fact, the first time that the president used these words called broad-based was way back in July. The first time members of ODM joined government was way back in July. It was not pursuant to this document. You know, so there is no government called broad-based government. The government in power is a Kenya Kwanza government led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, not Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto. So when you speak about this thing called broad-based, me personally, I don't consider the government of Kenya Kwanza a broad-based government. It is the President Ruto's government. So there are a few things I wanted to address, Trevor. As I've told you, this document did not form a government. Number two, Sifuna did not sign this document. Sifuna did not sign this document. If you look at the signature page of this document, it has two names, President William Ruto and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Because I know this document inside out, I was there when it was being prepared. We were very tempted, Trevor. One of the provisions of this document, on page 1, it says that this is not a coalition document. This document does not form a coalition between UDA and ODM. I was very tempted to include something that I see. Sometimes when you download a document online, you will see a watermark is put there saying, this is not a receipt. I wanted to put that watermark on every page to say, this is not a coalition agreement. Because as I spoke at KICC, I knew that we were getting ourselves into a perception war, that sometimes people are not interested in the details. But if you read this document and what it provides, it does not establish a government. Government was established in August during the elections in 2022, and the president himself has confirmed to the country that pursuant to, after what happened in June with the protest, he reached out to Raila Odinga to help stabilize his government for the intervening period. And these are things that are there and they are clear. Number two, I saw a report from the Standard attributing certain things to this MOU. This MOU is not what gave Raila influence in this country. Raila Odinga has been a presidential candidate by many accounts. He has won some of those elections. He's a leader of the opposition. He has been in politics for a long time. He has had influence across the country for all these years, and across Africa. He's a very well-respected statesman. It was not pursuant to this MOU that Raila now has influence. This MOU is not what made Dr. Oburu Odinga the senator for Siaya. The senator for Siaya was determined in the elections in 2022. Forget what the Standard is claiming. This MOU is not what made Winnie Odinga the Yala member of parliament. By the time we were going to elect Yala members of parliament, it was way back in 2022, 2023. This MOU did not exist. And Trevor, that is why we continue to plead with people. Let us develop a culture of knowing things before we speak about them. As I have said in public, my job really is to make sure that we stay the course. So for as long as this MOU did not establish a government, I am not in that government. I am not in that government. So I respectfully disagree with the sentiments that Oburu expressed there. And I have had occasion, because he's a colleague in the Senate, to sit down with him and understand. Even him, if you see that clip that you played, he was accusing Orengo of anger, but he was speaking with anger. So I asked him, what was the problem? And he explained to me that there were some issues. I think there was a meeting that Orengo attended in Bondo, and he said certain things that infuriated Oburu. And we have sat down as a leadership of the party to be able to resolve those issues, because it creates a lot of confusion, especially to us, the younger members of the party, when senior officials of the party fight in public.
Now, what is funny is that even Tom Ojienda himself is confirming that Edwin Sifuna did not sign the agreement.
The document, Trevor, created a new beginning. Yeah. It was a new beginning in the relationship between UDA and ODM. Because we never had cabinet ministers in the UDA government before June 2024. It was after the Gen Z invasion. It was after the arrangement that started a conversation between Raila Odinga and His Excellency President Ruto. So that arrangement was obviously an arrangement between two leaders of two political parties. So this document merely formalized an intention that was expressed by the appointment of members of ODM into cabinet. And I expected Sifuna to be in cabinet.
Why?
But even when he missed out, no, because you're a competent leader.
Oh,
when he missed out,
I'm a competent.
No, he's a competent. When he missed out, my concern is, Trevor, had Sifuna been appointed to the gender docket, he would not be speaking like this. I can assure you. I can assure you. And he was due to be appointed, but something happened, and he wasn't appointed.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this. This document only confirmed what had been done before. And that is why I respect Senator Oburu. Senator Oburu is speaking from his heart. He's speaking from his heart because he's philosophizing. He understands the foundations that informed the relationship between ODM and UDA.
Yeah.
So Sifuna is speaking to a document, but Senator Oburu is speaking to the philosophy behind the document. So that is the story that Sifuna is not telling you. That there were arrangements, agreements, and other side protocols or agreements that led to this document. So as Sifuna says, he never signed any document, which is true. But this document has a foundation. That foundation is the unseen arrangements between His Excellency William Ruto and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga that eventually led to this document.
But will it?
So this document,
leaders of the ODM like Sifuna have an issue with this?
There's much more. Sifuna is speaking from the document, but it's not just the document. What informs relationships between political parties is the understanding between their leaders. Documents aside, it is that understanding. And it is that understanding that will define whether or not His Excellency William Ruto gets a second term.
Okay.
And that relationship is what has seen the several inroads that the Honorable William Ruto has made in Nyanza and other parts that support him. Let me tell you, Trevor, for the first time since the advent of devolution, and last time I told you, Kisumu so far in devolved funds has received 73.7 billion Kenya shillings. Migori 70.1 billion Kenya shillings. And we see projects that are live for the first time. A region that is marginalized getting actual funds put into road projects that were never there before. A region that hardly benefited from projects. Now we see projects that will change the lives of people in that region. So Sifuna should not speak the way he spoke in Senate, accusing Mbadi of focusing on the interests in Nyanza, because he must focus on those interests, because we have been marginalized.
Okay. Doesn't that then bring in the ethnic?
It is not. It is the national question. The regional question. A region that has been marginalized must be brought to the same level as the other regions. And that is what Mbadi spoke to. That in dealing with the roads projects that were supposed to have been done during the administration of the Jubilee government and before, he's trying to bring up the region. For instance, the Lake Victoria road network, the one that will open the region, will not just benefit one county, it will benefit all the 14 counties in the LREB region.
Okay.
It will benefit all the way from Nyamira, Homa Bay, and all the counties connecting to Western. You see Sifuna represents Nairobi, but he's from Western. So he should be happy that Mbadi is opening the Western region for him.
Okay.
But now, what is making now this discussion very interesting is the way, Tom Ojienda and Edwin Sifuna are members of ODM. But now you find that one guy is supporting the government. The other guy is against the government. One guy is supporting the broad-based government. The other guy is supporting is against the broad-based government. Whereby Tom Ojienda is deeply into this issue of the broad-based government. In fact, Edwin Sifuna is not even calling it broad-based government. Edwin Sifuna is calling it a broad-based agreement. Because we can't say that this thing is a broad-based government. When you talk about a government, you talk about people that are ruling. You talk about the people that is ruling. And now we know very well that the party that is ruling, and the party that is ruling right now is UDA. So when you try to say that this broad-based coalition is a broad-based government, it's like now they're the ones that are in government, they're the ones that are ruling. Now, according to Edwin Sifuna is explaining very well that this thing is not a broad-based government because we are not all in government. The party that is ruling is UDA. So calling this a broad-based government is including ODM into this government, yet they are not in government. They did not play a key role. ODM did not play a key role in making this government. So we can't just wake up in the morning and give them a credit of serving in the government which they did not even sweat for. Remember, during the time of election and during the time of campaign, LDM was also fighting to be in the government. They're also fighting to build, to make the government. So there is no way we can give ODM credit right now simply because now they had joined the UDA, that they're part of the government. They are not part of the government, but they are part of the agreement. So that is what Edwin Sifuna is talking about. And Edwin Sifuna is telling, and by the way, how come somebody like Tom Ojienda is a professor? You know, what I think or what I know is that a professor is someone who reasons very well. So when you try to say that Tom Ojienda is a professor, let him just be a lawyer, but not a professor. I think that is what I can say. Let him just be a professor. Let him behave like another guy that I saw misbehaving somewhere. I'll talk about that in the next video. A guy, Dan Stonomari, who was called by a suspect in the murder of George Were, and then came publicly to defend a suspect. Yeah? You know, lawyers, I know that lawyers do their work. Lawyers love what they're doing. But coming out to defend a suspect, first suspect, is calling a president. Anyway, that is not what I was talking about. I was asking this question that how comes Tom Ojienda is called a professor? Why can't he just call himself a lawyer like these other guys? Because if a professor cannot understand what it is, the details, the document that the Secretary General is trying to explain to him, and that is why Edwin Sifuna is referring to him as like they're in the same group with Peter Salasya. It is not in a wrong way, but you know, Tom Ojienda is a lawyer, is a senator for that matter. And the expectation is that Tom Ojienda will have gone through the document before trying to defend the government. But they are full of themselves. They really love what they consume. Eh? These guys love what goes in and more than what comes out. That is why they find it easier to defend this rogue government by talking about the broad-based government. And Tom Ojienda was telling Edwin Sifuna that Sifuna should not fight a government that will ultimately help him. And he talked about respecting Uburu, which I have a problem with.
So Sifuna, do not fight a government that will help you in the end. Because Sifuna is just looking at Nairobi, a cosmopolitan with diversity in ethnicity and all those things. We have to deal with counties that have problems, counties that require development projects, but that eventually feed Nairobi.
Yeah.
And that is why it is important for Sifuna, when we speak about a broad-based arrangement, an arrangement that does not discriminate, an arrangement that ignores political views and political party affiliation, an arrangement that brings together all the people in this country. He should support the broad-based arrangement, the way Senator Oburu, who is our senior most. Remember, Senator Oburu is serving his 6th term in the National Assembly. He has sat in all these assemblies. When Migori spoke to me and he told me that whilst President Ruto may have served 4 or 5 terms, he was the senior most elected member of parliament, having served 6 terms. And please respect Oburu.
Okay.
I have not disrespected him.
Yes.
You are trying to set me up. Oburu, who is my friend, my senior, my mentor, I have told you, we had a conversation with him, and he explained to me why he was also angry. I have said it.
Why am I having a problem with that statement? I have a problem with that statement because Tom Ojienda is saying that Edwin Sifuna should respect Oburu Odinga because Oburu Odinga has been in politics for a very long time. But now my question is this. I don't want to talk about the respect because respect is paramount. It's a two-way traffic. Whom you respect, respects you. But now, this is my problem. My problem is this. How long has Oburu Odinga been in the government, like been in politics? All those years he has been in politics. How comes he's still wrangling? How comes he's still struggling with the young men like Edwin Sifuna in politics? I think the person that, the best person that maybe perhaps Oburu Odinga should be struggling with in politics is somebody like Francis Atwoli. Those are his age mates in politics. Francis Atwoli, somebody like Oparanya perhaps. Who else? Name them. There are a lot of old folks, a lot of old men who are supposed, Oburu Odinga is supposed to struggle with. Not even James Orengo. Not even Orengo. No. Leave alone Sifuna. Sifuna is too young to argue with Oburu Odinga, and that is why you're hearing Sifuna saying that Oburu Odinga is his mentor. So they are arguing, what is wrong with Tom Ojienda? This guy called Tom Ojienda, does he even really think of what he said before he says it? And that is why you find that Tom Ojienda is having a problem. He's having a bigger problem. The guy is so fat that he's having a problem even in breathing. Like, if he's trying to speak, but now the words cannot come out very, very well as they try to explain the MOU and the relationship between ODM and UDA. Because he's totally, I take him as one of the guys who is completely confused. Someone who is really confused that does not really understand what he's supposed to say or what he's supposed to do. Okay, your political career is at stake. Now, instead of trying to defend your political career, what you're doing, you're finding it easier to defend someone's. You're trying to protect someone's career instead of trying to protect your own career. Are you seeing? Tom Ojienda's political career is at stake. Instead of defending his career, he's trying to defend Ruto's career. He's forgetting that the same Ruto that is trying to defend his career will not help him at the time during the election when now his people will fail to elect him. And I love the way Edwin Sifuna articulates these things. Edwin Sifuna is giving William Ruto an E in the broad-based government.
When I stand up during the burial of George Odwor and I say, you agreed to increase budgetary allocation to counties to 450 billion Kenya shillings, not 405.
Yeah.
The president gets annoyed and threatens to call founder members of ODM to discipline the SG of ODM. Because it is my responsibility. Ojienda will not do this. I am the person who is responsible for this marking scheme. Timely and predictable disbursement of devolved funds. Yeah. This is something we fight over. Ojienda is talking about 70 billion going to you to where? Even as we speak today, Trevor, counties have not received money since February, since this agreement was signed. So when we remind these people of what the document is, that is why you see they run away. Okay. They run away because they are failing. I have given them an E out of these issues, and I could go on and on. Out of these issues, there is nothing they have done. I think the only thing no, that's what I'm saying. My job, it is 2 months later, Hillary, my job as SG, I have the marking scheme. I can show you all these issues here, none of which you have done. I think the only one you have tried is opportunities in public appointments, and I think we are in the first budget cycle. We want to see equitable budgetary resource allocation in this current budget. So, Trevor, when you say I am sabotaging by reminding us of our own commitments, you are being unfair. Because this is a document I know by heart. I was there when it was being prepared. As I've told you, it was done in my office, you know. So the people who are jittery, when Sifuna reminds us of our obligations, of the things that we promised to do, are the ones sabotaging this government.
Okay.
They are not me.
Senator Oburu marked this same document last weekend when we were in Migori for the launch of various roads in Migori and the projects.
Did you have the document?
Senator Oburu spoke from the heart. And he spoke to the philosophy of this document.
Is not
and I think from judging from what I saw, Oburu gave an A, and you're giving an E.
Yeah.
That means you are speaking against the broad-based arrangement.
That broad-based coalition is giving an E. Why? Because there is nothing constructive that they've done. They've not achieved. And I asked this question. In fact, I think I was just in line with the thoughts of Edwin Sifuna. I asked this question, that how long will these guys sing for us this issue of the broad-based coalition, broad-based government, broad-based blah, 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 blah. Yet we are not even seeing the results. You know, it will have been good if we would have seen the results. Like, this is the results of broad-based coalition. Now, this is, but now there is nothing that they've done. They've done nothing. They keep on singing the broad-based government. They keep on singing the broad-based government. But now they can't really tell us what the broad-based government has done. They have done nothing to the people. But here they are singing for us the broad-based government, that our target is this, bringing people together. People were together even before the broad-based government. And that is why even the Gen Zs mobilized themselves to go on the street on 25th June, that is 2024. Why? Because of the togetherness that they had. So you're telling us that you joined hands to make sure that Kenyans are together is like, I don't know how to say it. So I really support Edwin Sifuna by saying that he's giving the government an E. Of course, William Ruto say that he's going to come with a marking scheme, or is going to come with a report card. Now, what happens when you come with your report card? When you come with a report card, it is upon your teachers to give you marks. And now in this situation, the teachers are Kenyans. We are the teachers. We are the people who have got the marking scheme. You bring your report card, and then we'll go through your exams, and then after going through your exams, we'll give you a results. Now, the results that we're going to give you are the results that you deserve. According to Edwin Sifuna, he has already given the government an E. Now, Tom Ojienda is, this argument was all about Tom Ojienda and Edwin Sifuna. Tom Ojienda is trying to defend the government by saying that Oburu Odinga gave the broad-based government an A, and Edwin Sifuna is giving it an E. Now, what do you expect from someone who is really deep into this? Like, that is what he breathes, that is what he eats, that is where he is. What do you expect? You don't expect nothing. You don't expect something different from that. I think that is what we really need to understand. You don't expect something different from that, because that is what is it. That is what it is. Like, literally, that is the only thing that they are good at. And lastly, let's talk about this issue of Raila Odinga's song and these people that joined the government singing. And that is why I started by saying something to do with the broad-based government issue, Raila this, Raila that. These guys have been singing this song that we entered into this government to perfect our regions. And Edwin Sifuna is saying, he is bringing the narrative of the reasons why the former deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, was impeached. And he's saying that the former DP, that is deputy president Rigathi Gachagua, was impeached because of the narrative of the Milima.
This is a very interesting conversation from two perspectives. Number one, all of us who support Raila Odinga have been marginalized because of our politics. I want you to understand that point, that ODM and the leader of ODM, Raila Odinga, is not a leader of the Luo. He's not a leader of Luo Nyanza. Raila Odinga is a leader of Kenya. His people, including Sifuna, who doesn't come from Luo Nyanza, has been marginalized because of the position we have taken to support him. You go to the coast, you go to people in North Rift. I went to Baringo. I have my chairman there called Wesley Lekakimon. He's being marginalized because of his position as chairperson of ODM in Baringo. If you took another angle, Trevor, list for me the areas in this country that are marginalized. My goodness. From independence, Honorable Ojienda, are you telling me that it is only Luo Nyanza that is marginalized? What would you say to the people of Turkana, people who have no access to water 60 years after independence? If we truly were addressing marginalization, you would see John Mbadi telling us how he has helped the Ilchamus in Baringo as a people who are marginalized. The problem we have is when you characterize Luo Nyanza as the only marginalized area. If really we are addressing marginalization agenda, give us a list of the people of Mandera. You have an international airport in Kisumu. I went to Mandera and there is no runway. There is no runway. The plane lands on that. There is no electricity in Mandera. So when you are peddling your transformers there, when I see CS Energy saying, oh, we're putting these transformers here and there, remember the people of Mandera are not even on the national grid. So please, my brother, we are not saying that the people of Luo Nyanza or Western Kenya have not been marginalized. Let us approach marginalization as a national problem. And we are national leaders, Ojienda. You are a senator for the Republic of Kenya, elected by the people of Kisumu. Speak for other people as well. We know you represent the people of Kisumu. We have no problem with that. So when we talk about marginalization, let us look at it as a national problem.
Remember, Rigathi Gachagua used to talk about Mulima every now and then. There is no single day that Rigathi Gachagua didn't talk about Mulima. Like, his whole concentration was on the Mulima. And that is one of the major reasons why he was impeached, because people thought that it was tribalistic. So, right now, we have got some CSS who just joined the government recently, who thinks that everything that they want, they can get. Like the CS of energy, that is Opio Wandai. I heard him one of these days saying that there is money that has been allocated to go and put electricity in Luo Nyanza. Like, he was trying to count the Luo counties, that is Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, and Migori. And he was saying that there is some amount of money, I don't know how much, 12 point something billion or trillion, that has been allocated for electricity in those regions. But even if he's talking about that, if you try to look at it, you'll come to realize that there is no single electricity in those areas. There is no electricity. There is no project that he has done in that area, even though he's chest thumping. So why do you find it easy to chest thump and yet you're doing nothing? And that is why Edwin Sifuna is saying that these guys should be called to order, because there is no way you're supposed to serve the community. Like, you're supposed to serve a nation, a country, and now you want to serve a community. And that community that you're claiming that you want to serve, you're not even serving it. You're doing all these things because of your own personal interest. I think it's high time. It's high time these leaders realize that they should stop this narrative of we want to do this, we are going to do that. They should stop this, because the more they talk about this, the more they think of Raila as a Luo leader. You know, Raila Odinga, they have to understand that Raila Odinga is not Raila Odinga is not a Luo leader. Raila Odinga has been a national leader for a very long time. And thinking that Raila Odinga will help them when after they've served their personal interest, and now coming 2027, Raila Odinga will be with them to help them win the elections, or maybe help them be in government again. I think they're missing the point. According to me, I think this is the greatest mistake that these guys are doing, and it will never happen. It will not happen. Why? Because coming in 2027, Raila Odinga will be tired with politics. That is one thing I'm sure of, not unless otherwise. But I think it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. Junet Mohamed once said that it's going to be messy, and there are going to be casualties. So I think if things continue like this, then there will be casualties. It is going to be very messy, and there are going to be a lot of casualties in this government.